Strategy RPGs, my favorite genre of video games. This genre is home to greats such as Final Fantasy Tactics, Ogre Reborn, and of course the titular Fire Emblem series. This genre has seen much revival over the last couple of years, especially when just a decade ago, Fire Emblem Awakening was a Hail Mary throw to see if the series could survive. But as time would have it, Awakening would revive the series, bringing Fire Emblem into the modern age, for better and for worse. And we can all thank Crom for his timely intervention when the series was on the brink of extinction. Without him, we wouldn't be able to experience the joys of an overpowered Robin and a plethora of sword-wielding waifus. But how does the current iteration fare against other heavy hitters in the genre, and even in its own series? Is it worth buying now, waiting for a sale, or not at all? This is an especially pertinent question because, as with all Nintendo games, sales will be sparse. The decision to purchase it now or wait for a better deal is a crucial one. Well, here at The Forge, I'm excited to tell you how this game fares in 5 categories: fun factor, controls and gameplay, graphics, sound, and finally, replayability and stability. Does this game stack up to other SRPG greats, or is it just another cash grab, cashing in on nostalgia? Let's engage our emblems to find out.
Emblem engage!
Fire Emblem Engage is a game that takes everything you know about Fire Emblem and turns it up to 11. Every aspect of the game has been given consideration and care. From the different classes you can choose from, to the bond rings that give even minor characters stat boosts, to the Somnial being a massive open world full of things to do. And all of this is wrapped up in a combat system that's engaging and fun to play with, where you can really change things up depending on what units and emblems you're using. It's like every part of this game was made with one thing in mind: making sure people have fun playing it. Additionally, players will be delighted to discover that the combat system has plenty of depth and complexity, allowing them to tailor their strategies to their specific playstyles. The pure strategic RPG goodness has an unmatched fun factor. There's something for everyone here. This is all backed up by an intuitive and exciting battle system, which offers near endless possibility for customization with different units and emblems. Ultimately, this game was designed for one purpose: ensuring a fantastic and exciting experience for everyone, and it shows. There is something for everyone here, earning this section a 10 out of 10 for its sheer entertainment value. The controls here in Fire Emblem Engage are a bit different than Three Houses, the previous game in the series that released on Switch. After playing through Three Houses while waiting for Engage to come out, I was used to the old controls, but the developers changed tiny things that do have an impact on gameplay. For example, in Three Houses, to rewind time, it was a simple button press. Here in Engage, you have to go to the battle menu, then click on the time crystal. It's not a deal breaker by any means, but if you've played Fire Emblem Three Houses, be prepared to lose some of the muscle memory. Onwards to the gameplay. The game is divided into 2 major sections: the world map, where battles and skirmishes happen, and the Somnial, the omnipresent castle floating over the continent with you, where you have a wide variety of activities to partake in, like talking with your army, preparing meals, upgrading weapons, and even mini-games that can help boost your stats in battle. The battles here are the main course here in Engage. By commanding your units from a top-down perspective, you have full control on how your units attack and move to the enemy. The weapon triangle makes a comeback by introducing arts and breaks. The weapon triangle is mainly kept intact from previous iterations of the franchise, but for other weapons, they are grouped by arts and everything else. The arts have advantage against any other weapon type like bows, tomes, and staves. This iteration of the weapon triangle works here in Engage, but I would like to see the second weapon triangle expanded a bit more, like a secondary full triangle. The main draw here in the battles is the different emblems you receive on your journey. These emblems are the past heroes of the franchise, from Lyn to Ike to Byleth, with almost all of the mainstays are here. These emblem rings are innately powerful, being able to grant your units special weapons, skills, and even massive attacks like Leaf's quadruple hit, or super ranged ones like Lyn's Killer Storm. Even the secondary characters from previous games return in the form of bond rings, a lesser emblem ring but still gives stat boosts and even some skills on certain rings. The battle system is great, but what about the Somnial? Is it any good? Well, in my opinion, it is a good hub area but stands to be improved. All of the missions in between time happens here in the Somnial, and you'll be doing a lot of walking or fast traveling to different points to get all the things you need. The Plaza area has mostly everything you need, from shops being a short walk to the kitchen where you can prepare meals, but the Somnial feels gigantic outside of those activities, so there's not much practical benefit to traveling to the rest. You can't do the Tower of Trials until Chapter 11. The minigames at Alfred's gym only give minuscule stat boosts for the arduous minigames you're required to complete. It all sounds great on paper, just feels a little too open and big for my liking. I always wanted to get back into the action on the world map, not just relax around the Somnial. Overall, Engage scores a 9 here. Its gameplay is some of the most fun I've had in a strategy RPG. And isn't that why we play these games? The graphics here in Fire Emblem Engage are wonderfully crafted. The game world is rich and detailed, and the characters are all wonderfully designed. The game's art style is really unique and beautiful, and it's clear that a lot of care and attention went into making the game look as great as it does. Every detail is accounted for, from the intricate patterns on the character's clothing to the beautiful scenery in the background. The result is a game that absolutely looks stunning on the Switch, and it's sure to please fans of the series. The graphics of the game are top-notch. Wonderfully rendered 3D models, gorgeous textures, and stunning lighting effects. Compared to past entries in the series, this game feels much more polished and detailed. The character models look much more lifelike, and the environments are incredibly detailed, making it feel like you're really immersed in the game world. The game also runs much smoother, with fewer hiccups or slowdowns. All of these improvements make the game a much enjoyable and more immersive than its predecessors. This level of detail and smooth performance makes the game an absolute joy to play, bringing Fire Emblem Engage's score an 8 out of 10 here, allowing for a truly immersive and satisfying experience. Sound design is one of the most important aspects of any video game, and Fire Emblem Engage's sound design is absolutely beautiful. Every little detail has been meticulously crafted to create an immersive and engaging experience. It'll be an experience you don't want to miss. There's something about the sound design in Fire Emblem Engage that feels so right. Every little detail has been accounted for. From the way the swords clash to the way the magic crackles, it's a kind of audio that just envelops you, making it feel like you're right in the action. The scores and the cutscenes are especially great. Keep an eye out through the mid-game and you'll know which cutscenes I'm talking about. And be sure to put on your headphones here. The sound design in Fire Emblem Engage is top tier. Every sound is crafted with care and precision to create an immersive experience. The audio is dynamic and alive, creating an atmosphere that makes you feel like you're in the battle itself. The music in the cutscenes is especially impressive and stirring, making for some of the most memorable moments in the game. bringing the sound category to a 9 out of 10 here. Fire Emblem Engage's replayability is astounding. There are over 50 different classes that any unit can change to as long as you have the items and proficiencies. There are so many different ways to also play the game, thanks to the game's robust class system. You can play units as their intended class, or branch out and try classes like they would normally never be in, like the Mage or the Wing Rider. You can also customize your units to fit your playstyle with your own skills. Do you want a tank that can take a lot of damage? Or a nimble unit that can avoid enemy attacks? The choice is yours. With so many options available, you can keep on coming back to Fire Emblem Engage and never get bored. With such a wide variety of options, it can provide hours of entertainment and replayability. Whether you are looking for a challenge, more customization, or just a fun time, this game offers something for everyone. Also, the base game is quite challenging, especially on maddening, so you definitely will get your money's worth. Fire Emblem Engage offers an immersive experience that will keep you entertained for hours on end. However, some people may find the game a bit too challenging towards the end. Others may find the game too easy and not get the value they were hoping for. This is very subjective, but as a longtime fan of the series and strategy RPGs in general, I feel like hard is a wonderful balance of difficulty and enjoyment here. Every mistake I made was my own fault. The game simply took advantage of it just like any human would do. The stability here on the Nintendo Switch is no problem. In my full 80 hours of playing the game, I did not experience a single crash. Furthermore, the game's frame rate stays stable, so it's a very enjoyable experience outside of recording gameplay for this review. Overall for this section, I'm giving Fire Emblem Engage a 9 out of 10. This game is an experience made to be replayed over and over to try all the different combinations. The only point knocked here is the lack of a New Game Plus, which like in Three Houses should have been a launch option, not further out in the Season Pass. So, as you can probably tell from the previous sections, I am in love with this game. This has been some of the most fun I've had in a strategy RPG in quite some time. This is probably due to Engage's massive dose of nostalgia, but I don't care, it's still a fun game. What's more is I find myself playing it over and over again, which is testament to how enjoyable Engage really is. For instance, I've already beaten the game twice, and I'm working on a third playthrough, with a completely different party composition each time. However, there are some aspects that are not as good for this game. For example, some people may find the game to be easy and the story predictable. Additionally, the game has been criticized for being too similar to other games in the genre. The future of the series excites me, as I believe if they manage to fix these few shortcomings, like the somewhat bloated cast or the lack of features on launch, like a New Game Plus mode, it will be the cream of the crop among strategy role-playing games. The final score for Fire Emblem Engage is a 9 out of 10 here on the Forge. It has everything a strategy RPG fan could ask for, heaps on the nostalgia for past fans of the series, and experiments with new mechanics that I hope return. This game gets a finely forged seal of approval and will be sure to captivate you for many playthroughs to come.
As expected,